on today's chat of Chasing After God's Heart, we're going to be reading Psalms 138 from the Ethiopian Bible, and this specific psalm is titled, Your Right Hand Delivers Me. Before I begin, I want you to comment one thing that God has delivered you from, or one thing that the Lord has done for you to help your character, but to also help you grow spiritually. Comment one thing below, okay? So, the Psalms begins by reading like this, and this is also from the Ethiopian Bible. So Psalms 138 from the Ethiopian Bible reads, I will give you thanks with my whole heart. Before the gods, I will sing praises to you. I will bow down toward your holy temple and give thanks to your name for your loving kindness and your truth. For you have exalted your name and your word above all. In the day that I called, you answered me. You encouraged me with strength in my soul. All the kings of the earth will give you thanks, Yahweh, for they have heard the words of your mouth. Yes, they will sing of the ways of Yahweh, for Yahweh's glory is great. For though Yahweh is high, yet he looks after the lowly, but he knows the proud from afar. Though I walk in the middle of trouble, you will revive me. You will stretch out your hand against the wrath of my enemies. Your right hand will save me. Yahweh will fulfill that which concerns me. Your loving kindness, Yahweh, endures forever. Don't forsake the works of your own hands. And that's the end of the psalm. Because I asked you to comment one thing that the Lord has done to improve your character, or one thing the Lord has done to help you in your spiritual life or your spiritual walk, I too am going to comment as well and give you one thing the Lord has done to improve my character or my spiritual life, my spirituality. I know you may have heard this before, but one thing the Lord has really taught me and what he's constantly refining in me is what I say. Because there's death and life in your tongue, the Lord is constantly teaching me to watch what I say to myself, watch what I say to others, and ensuring that the words that I speak over myself and others are life-giving, ensuring that those words are encouraging words are used to build up people. And I think that's essential, because when I first started my journey, right, my spiritual journey, last year, one of the verses that the Lord led me to was Ephesians 4. And I'm going to read that to you guys really quick. Ephesians 4, verse 29 reads, Let no corrupt speech proceed out of your mouth, but only what is good for building up others as the need may be, that it may give grace to those who hear. And for me, when I had read that last year, I read it in the ERV version, but nevertheless, when I read it, I was like, there has been times when I have said stuff to people and it was not encouraging. When I would say those things, it was to crush your soul. I wouldn't even say it like that. It was basically to hurt your feelings. I would say things to purposely hurt your feelings. But the Lord has reminded me, or the Lord taught me to not be like that. You're not here to hurt people's feelings. That's what the devil does. Don't let the devil use you to hurt somebody else. What you should be doing is speaking peace. You should be speaking love. You should be expressing kindness, and goodness. And these are things that you should be doing. So I'm so thankful for the Lord for changing my ways, because going around saying mean things to people because I was an angry person. I was an angry person because of all the things that happened to me in my life and my traumas. I was angry inside, and I had all this displaced anger. But the Lord has ironed things out, and he's always working on me, because there's always something to improve upon within yourself. There's always something that can be improved. And I'm just thankful for the Lord for always being patient with me, but always being graceful, because he's always teaching me how to do better, how to be like his son. The Father's teaching me how to be like his son, Jesus Christ, because Jesus is a perfect example of how we should live our life, but how we should speak to other people. When the Pharisees were up against Jesus multiple times, you never see Jesus cussing them out. No, he didn't get angry. Sometimes he wouldn't answer, especially when it was almost time for him to get persecuted. He didn't answer sometimes. He just stayed quiet. So one of the things that the Lord has also taught me is you do not have to respond to everything people say. Somebody can say something that is nasty. Somebody can say something that is disgusting and I just use the same word, but somebody can say something that can devastate your character or can be diminishing to your character. There we go. Somebody can say something that is diminishing to your character and you do not have to respond to it. You can simply say you reject it, walk away, and go pray for them. Because in the book of Peter, I think it's 1 Peter, it says that you're not supposed to trade insults for insult, but bless them. So what the Lord has been teaching me is to ensure that my mouth is used to bring him honor, glory, and praise, and to help others, but never to tear somebody down, and not to kick them either, because that's what the devil's for. The devil's there to kick you when you're down over and over and over again. And I'm not going to join into those type of games. I don't play those types of games no more. I've matured and I'm growing, and it's not pleasing to be the same person you were 5 years ago, or to be the same person you were 10 years ago, or 2 years ago. You need to be changing. You need to be growing in some shape or form. You should ever be growing. You should always be improving. And that's one of the areas that the Lord has been That's one of the areas that the Lord has been pruning in my life, but also like refining in my life to ensure that I speak words that glorify him, but that these lips that glorify him aren't being used to tear somebody else down. But that was it. I know that was kind of a long spiel, but God bless you and have a good day. Bye.